Welcome back to another episode of the Hands On Experience podcast, where I will be coaching you, educating you, teaching you on leadership, career transitions, and accountability. Today's show, we're going to focus on leadership and how the goal as a leader is to use knowledge and observation to become a more effective and efficient leader. You have to share your thoughts, your feelings, your ideas. You have to be very open to everything that you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish. All right, and what does it actually mean? What does it mean? So what it means is, on a daily basis, you have to be in a great frame of mind so you can create a positive vibe and energy. Right, so you can't walk around, with the weight on your shoulders, okay, so to speak. Anything that's going on with you outside of your job, outside of work, you have to leave it out there. Whatever stress you have to leave it out there. And you cannot bring that bad energy into the job when you're trying to lead your team, because it's going to leak into your team and they're going to feel it, and they're not going to be able to be as productive as you want them to be and need them to be. You have to tune in to how the other person responds when you're talking to them. Okay, when you're talking to your team and you're having a conversation, you have to tune in and recognize whether they understand what you're saying, whether they appreciate what you're saying. Um, you have to recognize if they are on the same page as you, so to speak. So you have to tune in to how other people are responding. Again, that's an observation tactic, so you can know how to proceed with the conversation or with the situation or with the meeting. All right. And we having a discussion, you have to set a positive tone. Okay. When you talk to someone, you have to speak very positively, very positively, very confidently in what you're telling them, especially if the discussion is about constructive criticism and what your team member needs to do to be better and to be successful. So you have to express a positive tone in those type of conversations. Okay, because a tone can make or break one of your team members. If your tone is not positive, not confident, and it's not a tone of trying to help them, they're going to feel that, and they're going to feel like they're not succeeding. They're going to feel like their job could be on the line, and you could totally not mean that. So you have to make sure you have a positive tone in your discussions so you can set the tone right and set their mindset right, to be better at what it is that you have to discuss with them. Okay. Um, Recognize any feelings of discomfort. You have to recognize any feelings of discomfort when you're talking to your team or team members as a group or as individuals. You got to recognize if someone is not really feeling what's going on in your culture, and you have to address it immediately. Immediately, you have to address it so it does not affect what you're trying to do as a team or affect that person that you really need on your team to succeed. So you got to recognize any feelings of discomfort and attack it right away, and set the tone right to where everything and everyone in your culture is feeling great about the atmosphere. All right, and the temperature. Okay. Here's one thing that all leaders must understand. Okay, that when we communicate as leaders, when we communicate our emotions, 55% of it is nonverbal. Okay, 55% of it is nonverbal. Verbal. It's our body language, right? When you walk into a room, you have to be confident, not arrogant. You have to be relaxed, but not too relaxed. Okay, so when you walk into a room, your body language can either turn off the people or attract them to you. Okay, there's a fine line between walking with arrogance and confidence. Okay, so you got to make sure that your body language is strong, confident, yet approachable. Right? Strong, confident, yet approachable body language. Okay? The next way we communicate our emotions is through tone of voice, and that's 38%. Okay, your tone of voice again has to be confident and encouraging, inviting. Okay, you cannot have an arrogant tone, and also you cannot have a stressed tone. All right, an arrogant tone and a stressed tone will affect your team, will affect your culture, and it will bleed into it very badly. Okay, so your tone of voice is very important. Again, make sure that it's confident, it's inviting, and it's encouraging. Okay, so you can make sure that that type of positive energy bleeds into your team. Okay, and your culture. All right. 7% of your emotions that's communicated is dependent on the content you're using. Right. So whatever the subject matter is that you're speaking of, you got to make sure it's the right place and the right time. Okay. Sometimes when you go into a meeting with your team, it may not be the right time. It may not be the right place. Might not be the right moment. Again, that's where you have to gauge the temperature. All right. Observation. You have to gauge the temperature of what you're going to talk about when you go to that meeting. You could have one thing in mind, but when you get there, it could change. You got to be ready to pivot and make that change to make sure that whatever the content you're discussing, it's going to be content that's going to make the meeting productive and help your team be more productive. Okay. Now, another thing that we as leaders must do is we have to evaluate our mindsets. Okay. We have to evaluate our mindsets. Do we have a growth or fixed mindset? Do we have an opportunity or obstacle mindset? Okay. If you want to succeed, if you want your culture to succeed, your team to succeed, if you want to grow, you have to have a growth mindset with opportunity thinking. Okay. That means you're going to be open to any change, anything necessary to make sure you're growing and you're succeeding. You can't do that with a fixed and obstacle mindset. Again, that will bleed into your team and they'll become stagnant. Okay. So you have to evaluate your own mindset to make sure it's a growth mindset with opportunity thinking. Okay. Now, the other thing that you have to do is learn from your past mistakes and achievements. All right. You have to know the why of both in order to develop a culture of learning. And this goes back again. This is resilience. This is building resilience as a leader. Evaluating your mindset, and then now learning learning from past mistakes and achievements. When you make mistakes, and your team's going to see you make mistakes, they're going to see it, and they're going to see how you respond to it. Okay, and if you respond to it the right way, with a constructive criticism mindset with yourself, and still be confident and believe that things can work out and understand that you just have to pivot in that moment when you made that mistake and keep it moving. Okay, so just learn why you made those mistakes. So as you going forward, those mistakes won't happen again. And when you have achievements, it's the same way. You know, when you have achievements, you can't what they call it, what they say, you can't rest on your laurels. I think that's how you say it. I'm not sure. But you can't rest on your achievements when you achieve. Your team will be watching that as well. Okay, so when you have achievements, you have to acknowledge those achievements, but at the same time, you have to learn and take lessons as to how you achieved it or why you achieved those things. So when you go into the future, you will know, okay, this is what I did and needed to do in order to have success. All right. So again, to build resilience, to continue to build resilience, you have to learn from your past mistakes and your achievements. You have to attach your goals to your purpose, right? Whatever your goals are, you have to attach them to your purpose so you can have your why. Okay? You need to know what your purpose is and why you're doing the things you're doing. And the only way to do that is to attach your goals to that purpose. Okay? And you have to welcome change while having realistic goals. We set goals. We set goals to attach that purpose, but we must understand at some point on that journey, we're going to have to pivot because one of those goals may not work out, or one of the ideas we have to accomplish a goal may not work out. So we have to welcome change. We have to welcome the opportunity to pivot, to try something different, try something new, listen to other people, and get ideas from them. All right, that's what a resilient leader does. Okay. This next one's really important. Linking up with other like-minded people, your peers, or even people that's in a higher level than you, to continue your learning process. You don't know it all. As leaders, we don't know it all. It's best to link up with other people in similar positions as us and understand the pressures you're under, and the things that you have to do as a leader to hold your team together and make sure your team, your culture's great, your company's great, and you're moving forward successfully. So link up with different people that can teach you things that you can learn from their mistakes. You can learn from ways that they um, achieved and the steps that they took to achieve. You can learn from all the different experiences that they share with you on their journey. Okay, and you can do the same. Share with them your experiences on your journey, to becoming a successful leader. Okay, you have to celebrate wins regardless of size. We in a world right now where everything has to happen now and everything has to be big, go viral, and all those type of things. And when we have small wins, we don't look at them as wins. And that's a bad thing in our culture right now. And sometimes all you're gonna have is small wins. And guess what? You have a lot of small wins. It equals to one big win at the end of the day. So celebrate your wins. Celebrate your wins regardless of how big or small they are. Okay? Regardless of how big or small, celebrate those wins. All right? Celebrate them with your team. Okay? Let them know that they're very important to the success of your company and what you're trying to achieve. All right? This next one is probably the most important one because without this one, all the other things that I just mentioned may not, you know, they may not come to fruition. And that's developing a self care routine to relieve stress and stay balanced. Everyone knows as a leader, the target's on your back. All the arrows are going to shoot at you when things do not go right. And when things are going right, it's not just you, it's your team. So, as a leader, you got to understand that at the end of the day, it's not about you. All the wins you have to go to your team and you, but it's all of you. But when things go wrong, it's you, okay? And you have to be able to handle that. You have to be able to understand that, and you have to be able to have a self care routine that's going to help you relieve that stress and stay balanced. If it's in the morning time, getting up, working out, meditating, reading, anything that can help you get your mind set for that day, and balance yourself. And also eating right. Eating right is very important. It's very, very important to have a nutritional, um, balanced diet. And all those things are going to, if you have all those things, it's going to help you achieve all the other things that I just mentioned in terms of being able to use observation and knowledge in terms of helping your team grow and helping you grow as a leader. But one thing that I'm always going to stress to all leaders, because sometimes as leaders, you think, okay, you think you have all the answers. You think, um, you feel like also you're on an island by yourself where, there's no one to go to for help. I don't have no one in my corner. I have to be in everyone else's corner. I have to be everyone else's pick me up. But as leaders, you don't have to think that way, and it doesn't have to be that way. Hire a coach. Hire your leadership development coach that can hold you accountable. Be that person in your corner that you need, that you can tap into in times of need when you really need to just get something off your chest, or you need some direction, or you need redirected to get back on track, to get back focused. So hire a coach that can help you do that. Okay, that's what we're here for. All right. Don't think you're on an island by yourself. You're not. And then you cannot do it alone as a leader. Okay, you need help just like your team needs your help. You need help from a coach. So don't be afraid to get help. All right, like they always say, getting help is a strength, not a weakness. Okay, because you're trying to be successful, and you want to do all you can to make sure you're successful. Again, so it can bleed into your team, so they can be successful. All right. Well, that's a wrap for this week's Hands On Experience podcast. I look forward to seeing you next week and talking to you next week. Again, if you need to contact me, my email is reggie.hanson@hansoncoaching.com. You can go to my website and set up a consultation at hansoncoaching.com. And I look forward to talking with you, speaking with you, and helping you, in any way I can. All right. Have a great rest of your week. And I look forward to speaking with you again.